keep him in check in the entire game, then I don't know if it's worth to leave it open.
Actually, pre-6, Ramus was trying to gank the bot lane, and that is where he had to burn his own flash. And without his flash, I don't think it was possible to gank a Kassadin, even pre-6, because if you don't have your own flash, but Kassadin has his up and available, and he also has the slow, there's just no chance of acquiring a kill. Maybe a summoner spell, but after 6, that doesn't even matter that much.
Yeah, well, Game 2 has just started and we're picking face mode. Tom Kent is going to be the first ban for Void Gaming who are going to have first pick this game. And this is a support we didn't see get banned before, and nor we saw it get picked. So something seems a little fishy here. I think Void Gaming have a very specific strategy they want to carry out in mind. And let's see what they're actually going to go for.
I mean, we've seen Tom Kench in the bot lane with Misfortune, and that actually was a pretty strong bot lane. Other than that, Tom Kench was mainly present in the ban phase, not the pick phase, but we can say the same about Rise. So him in the middle lane against Dominant is a must ban.
Yeah, well, Dominant and Rise go together, so I wouldn't leave that open anytime soon. Dr. Mundo is going to be the second ban for Void, and Konzi-san has made pretty clear that if he gets Dr. Mundo, he gets the whole game snowballing on his own. It's kind of the same thing with Listen, but with Listen, he actually has to make a lot of risks. Mundo is a very safe pick, and I would say I'm surprised that Yasuo got banned, but there's just so much history behind that Yasuo and Dominant and competitive events with different dimension and Void Gaming that I'm not even gonna close an eye on that.
And especially since with the new buffs, with the new items, by the 10th minute you can have 100% critical hit chance on Yasuo. So that is just too strong. I'm surprised he wasn't picked that much today, but other than that, we can still see the shielding support Lulu being in a ban list, just as Elise, one of the most favored jungler of all times, actually.
I see Lulu and Elise get banned, and I know that both Unknown Psycho and Konzi-san will go towards their second favorite picks that are Listen and Rek'Sai. But the main thing here is that we see 0 bans on that top lane, and that Irelia Jax matchup we haven't been able to see the whole tournament through might be coming up next.
I think the biggest underestimation of this whole tournament, of this whole day, is Xin Zhao. You see, he's also an auto-attacking champion in the jungle. If he manages to buy the Rage Blade, he's just unstoppable. He has amazing clear time, and if he manages to catch someone with the slow and with the knockup, he will finish anybody off in a matter of seconds.
Well, that is definitely a very strong pick in the current patch. We haven't seen any team even think about it yet, though, so I don't know. I will baptize you a prophet if you actually foresee a Xin Zhao getting picked. But for now, we do have Alistar starting up for the lineup of Void Gaming, and Kalista will surely follow as different dimension open with Morgana and of course the Listen.
I mean, you know these guys, so you know what they are thinking probably. You know the Listen is gonna get picked, and then probably the Rek'Sai for Psycho, because if they are iconic picks, if they feel more comfortable with their most experienced champions or the second most experienced champions in the jungle, then that is what they should go for. After all, this is the championships final, the BO3, and amongst that, the second game, so there's much to lose here.
Well, it's Season 2, and Different Dimension are 1 win away from becoming 2 times champions, while Void Gaming really won the payback for last season. I have to say, I'm expecting an all-in strategy right here for Void Gaming. Whatever secret they had, whatever strategy they were not sure of, they're gonna throw it out there, and there comes the Malphite. And Dings. Okay, that is interesting, but okay.
Not interesting enough. Tristana, not that's interesting.
Yeah, well, this is very good against Listen, as he can throw him back, but the Black Shield might get a little bit in the way of her plans. If that happens, we have a lot of forms of disengage for Void Gaming already. We have the Buster Shot from Tristana, we have the Headbutt from Alistar, and there's also a very good engage. Like, there are knockups everywhere, and they're going for them despite Yasuo getting banned, so
exactly.
I'm still not sure what they're going for.
I think you should vote Warrior Lady for the Prophet, because after this many knockups, if you just pick a Yasuo, you don't even have to be in your lane. You don't even have to be in the game. You will just win, because the amount of knockups right now in Void Gaming's team is just too damn high. Now in the top lane, Fiora is free, Jax is free, Irelia is free. I think if Warrior Lady gets this Fiora again, I'm not even willing to say that.
Okay, hold that thought. We're gonna see Warrior Lady lock that Fiora. And as Jax and Irelia are not considered good matchups against that Malphite, it is going to be the next best thing, especially in the hands of the Warrior Lady. And it's going to be Ezreal yet again for Miracolo. That Mana-immune Raidsblade Ezreal hasn't been carrying games on its own, but it has been proven very worthy on that bot lane, at least on the laning phase. And in case the rest of the game goes wrong, I strongly believe that an Ezreal could really carry on that late game.
Especially since in the laning phase, his Mystic shots just outrange Tristana's even most efficient attacks. So if Miracolo is good with the skill shots, then Tristana is looking at a hard lane, even with an Alistar who has heals. Now in the middle lane, within Dominant's hand, we see a Diana being brought out.
So, yeah, Rek'Sai locked, no big surprise there. And Diana, so the middle lane pick that grew in popularity when the double teleport came to the meta is actually getting picked. And Void Gaming are going to give Different Dimension a chance to counter Diana. So I wouldn't even be surprised if we saw even Fiora being sent mid against Diana. And at this point, Void have so much knockups, and there's this burst in the middle lane and very good damage over time in the back line. A huge front line with a lot of knockups, and I have to say Void Gaming's lineup looks better than Different Dimensions, but Different Dimension do have a lot of their comfort picks.
Now that's an Azir, which is, I think, just a targeted pick against the Diana, because while the Emperor can stop even the most aggressive and most damageful Dianas, because, you know, when she wants to come in, she will get denied hard. And that can possibly mean that Alistar, Malphite, and even Diana are out of fight, and Different Dimension can just re-engage when they want to.
Yes, and surprisingly enough, the only champion that can go through that Emperor's Divide is first pick for Void Gaming. So there is a lot of answers for both teams. It's not a lineup that tells you right off the bat who's going to have the upper hand. It all comes up to how well they play it, how much preparation they have with a certain lineup, because I have to say Void Gaming do not use those picks too often. And Different Dimension, they got that Azir that hasn't been too popular lately.
Exactly, because the soldiers now do not scale with your attack speed, and of course there was an even earlier nerf to Azir, which means that now with cooldown reduction you do not get additional attack speed. So yeah, you are still viable with this character, and you are still bound to buy the Nashor's Tooth, with which you can just push out your lane and go out, help the side lanes, or just take an objective, which is now present in the top lane and in the bot lane.
So there we go, guys. It is going to be Game 2 of Southeast Europe Championships Finals. Different Dimension against Void Gaming, both marching towards the river.
And we can see yet another Corruption Potion being brought out in the mid lane. Now we can see it do wonders in a melee against ranged matchup. And Diana is a melee champion, as we all know, until level 6, when she can just jump around and, well, deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, so I see a pattern here. Like, we saw Kassadin, also very mobile until level 6. a little bit of a chicken fight on the top lane. Both of them exchanging a few hits. And we're actually going to see Emilia recalling while Warrior Lady is not going to do so. So that early poke doesn't intimidate him at all. And that is some very confident way of playing this.
I mean, with the Doran's Blade coming in the top lane, she does have the essential life steal, and we are talking about an auto-attacking champion. So with every minion hit, she will just recover enough health to not even feel that. Oh, the Mystic Shot's just missing.
Actually, Wild Panda starting with that Tormented Soil, and this gives out a lot of information about different dimensions. They want to push so early, and we have seen Morganas pick up Tormented Soil just so they can get that early push and snowball to that level 2 faster.
Exactly, and the Thunderlord's Decree is doing wonders, as you could have seen, because Alistar is losing health now. That's saying a lot. Alistar does not lose health on the official basis in the bot lane.
Yeah, like right now, we have different dimension having the upper hand when it comes to poking, and Rago gets a little bit of damage on himself, not without getting something back. And that bot lane will definitely be very interesting, as Ezreal is able to completely dodge the Headbutt Pulverize from Oathbreaker. Wild Panda is going to be the primary target, so let's see how this works out.
What I'm particularly interested in, oh, there's some damage from the soldiers.
Oh, great Dark Binding. Rago gets some damage onto himself, but Wild Panda is getting punished. Now there comes the jump, and there is the explosive charge. Will it be enough? No, it isn't. And Exhaust goes to Miracle. Dark Binding gets Rago. The damage is good, but there's just no kill potential for either of those.
I wanted to point out that in the bot lane we have an Exhaust against an Ignite, and you don't always see the Exhaust composition winning, but now that's the case, and it's interestingly enough in favor of Void Gaming. In the middle lane we have the same matchup, but instead of Ozzy bringing out the Ignite,
Dominant should be careful. Consistent is right behind him. Sifting Sands will not get the knockout, but it doesn't matter. It is going to be first blood for different dimension. And now we do see Miraculo getting caught. At what cost is a question. Oath gets the kill as Miraculo will go down. Both supports grab a kill right there.
But here comes Lee Sin.
Yeah, Consistent goes in there. Rocket Jump will be used, but now Raga is out of mana. He does gain the ground he needs to go away with this. And while both AD carries grab an assist, just take a look at the farm difference between those two.
I mean, Rago still had the flash up, while Lee Sin, as we've seen in the middle gank, he did, I wouldn't say wasted, he just used it to secure the first kill of the match. And now, in the top lane, just taking a look at the farm difference between Amalphite and Fiora, we can also state that Fiora is winning, well, most of the trades here, and also manages to have a good amount of CS lead against Malphite.
Well, yeah, it's not expected from a Malphite to actually outfarm a Fiora. He just needs to survive until mid-game comes, where he will be very, very important to the lineup of Void Gaming. Now, he has to sustain against Warrior Lady, and he sure doesn't look like he wants to do so. There comes the land. Warrior Lady gets the dive. Will he survive, though? No, it is going to be a 1-for-1.
Exactly, and we still see 2 teleports in the top lane, so other than kills being exchanged, I'm pretty much sure that Malphite and Fiora will return shortly, because the lane is not pushed in either way, so the minions, the gold and the experience are still present.
Well, right here, Dominant gets some poke onto himself. Consistent was looking for a gank, but he won't quite find that. Now Emilia, he's almost 1 level behind, and he has to be very careful of that level 6 power spike that Warrior Lady could have. But this is a bait. Now there comes Psycho. Warrior Lady gets knocked up by the flash and Barrow from Psycho. The red buff is slowing him. Emilia comes out. Will there be enough damage is the question. The answer is no. Warrior Lady goes back.
It looks just like it, although I'm pretty much sure the Prey Seeker was available. The damage might not have been enough, and as you can see, Malphite is out of mana, so the kill potential was just too low. To go
oh my god,
tower.
Warrior Lady still there. What a ballsy player! And now he goes for the 1-for-1. There's the lance out of mana. Yeah, he can't do anything. Consistent misses the Sonic Wave, and he won't be able to go through that as a lot of minions will be able to deal some damage. While Panda, very late Black Shield, but not too much harm.
Warrior Lady is, I don't know, it's just a calculus in himself. So he knows exactly how much damage he is gonna take. He knows exactly when to use the riposte. It's like his iconic pick is just about to twist from Jax to Fiora. Am I right?
I would say that happened like a season ago, but these things come and go with patches and a lot of items being changed. Meanwhile, I would like to bring our attention back to that bot lane. We haven't seen any particular movement down there. Of course, Miraculo died once, but both supports took the kills. But just take a look at the farm difference. Yet again, also increased. 20 CS lead for Rago. And Miraculo does not find the lane presence that he used to have with Ezreal. So right now he's barely surviving. But the real question is, can he really outscale Rago? And just look at those trades. Rago is trading against both of them completely alone.
And Alistar is gonna heal that health amount right back. Now it's Baker again denying all of the farm from the enemy's AD carry. I think that's pretty much what's been happening the whole day. So you have to focus more on the support and to get away from his damage and CC potential than to be aware of the enemy's AD carry. Now the Tiamat is being picked up in the top lane by Fiora. There is no lifesteal yet, but still, because of the Doran's Blade, I think Fiora still has the upper hand when it comes to exchanges of damage.
Oh, Dominant gets got. There comes the initiation. He blasts away. He uses his ult on the tower. Now, there comes a dive. That is questionable. Consistent will survive, but he uses everything, and the Brace Seeker will not quite get that kill. So, both flashes burned. But in the end, Pretty is the one having the advantage as he has both summoners against Dominant, who will have none.
Even the ultimates, so Dominant had a really quick reaction time there. After the Lee Sin flash click, he absolutely managed to get away from the Emperor of Shurima even before the ultimate could have been used. Now that's a nice riposte, but here comes Rek'Sai.
Well, this is bait, and now there comes a very easy kill. There was absolutely no answer from Warrior Lady as he didn't have his flash at the time and riposte was on cooldown. So it is going to be a very nicely played kill by Void. Well, Oath is trying to clear the wards before the pink ward goes down. And that's going to be an exchange. Oh, Trushat Baraz goes towards mid lane. Dominant. He almost dies.
The shield saves the day.
Yeah, the shield actually kept him alive, but Miraculo sniped him. First time you don't expect it. Second time you're going to have your eyes open for that.
I think he pretty much expected it thanks to those shields. He stays alive, but stays also in the middle lane. Now, Pretty has the flash up, Dominant does not. There comes the smite, and that's it.
Yeah, well, Pretty doesn't feel threatened at all. He has his flash, he has his exhaust, and the Emperor's Divide, so that was pretty much zero threat. And
I mean, he was out of mana, but yes, even Rek'Sai could not finish off a kill that quickly. And because of the exhaust, even if Rek'Sai was going damage, which he is not, she is not, there wouldn't have been any kind of danger.
I like seeing 4 pink wards in the inventory of Void Gaming. They want to go for the early vision control, and this is probably something that could get them going into this mid game. Right now, Different Dimension are leading by 500,000 gold, which is pretty much nothing, but Raga gets a lot of damage on himself. It is still a 2-for-2, but we could be seeing Wild Panda flash with a Black Shield just to get a stun onto Raga.
And if that happens, that surely is gonna be a kill. But look at the health coming back on that Tristana. So not just the cookies, also the Alistar healing is just huge.
Oh, look at Consistent. He is completely unnoticed. Now Pretty baits Dominant. There comes the Emperor's Divide. The combo is very nice, but Teleport comes for backup. Consistent can't actually go back now. He has to find a way away from Emilia, but he knows that's not very possible. Dominant will get the kill, and a beautiful reaction from Void Gaming, resulting into a counter bait, actually.
Yeah, actually baits are happening one side and then the other side as well. So both teams are quite right in their mindset in this current game. Now we are approaching the 12th minute. Still, no towers are taken down. Herald hasn't been even close to being taken.
Middle lane.
Teleport is coming
Pretty
down.
will go down. Dominant bursts him down as he takes with the Ignite. It is going to be a solo kill for Dominant, and the second one for the mid laner of VG. He gains all the burst he needs just with a Negative Cloak, but enough of that. While Panda gets pulverized, he is going to have to flashback with no results at all. Now there comes Trushut Boraz, it gets 3 members, and Rago being solo, he has to be careful. There comes Consistent, the rocket jump will not get him, but it doesn't matter. Ove gets a kill, Miracolo now is next in line. It's Rago who gets a kill, and Void find themselves winning in this early game of Game 2.
Thanks to those kills being picked up, also a tower goes to Void Gaming, and with that, we are looking at 3,000 gold difference between the two teams. Now, before the match, we stated that Different Dimension hasn't even dropped a single game. Now, looking at this, the early game is definitely Void Gaming's.
Yeah, well, what can I say? Void Gaming are leading in this early game, and taking a look at the picks, I would say that late game belongs to Different Dimension, but definitely not the mid game. And Miguel is going to be very powerful in those mid game fights with that unstoppable force. And without a strong early game, Different Dimension will have to actually leave a lot of objectives uncontested. So mistakes were made. Now the question is, will VG be able to keep their advantage and manage to gain their first win against Different Dimension and go into Game 3?
What I'm trying to say is, yes, Void Gaming won the early game, so far so good, but in the late game, a Diana, a Tristana, an Alistar, and the Malphite, they're both huge and great in the late game with a lot of damage against an Azir who can just top a fight, possibly, not even absolutely surely, as you said, because the unstoppable force will just go through that. The question is how Warrior Lady will perform with that Fiora. Now we can see a 14-minute Herald being picked up by Dominant, which means that middle tower is looking at some hard time.
Oh, Pretty, you should be careful. Emilia is very close to you, and he will successfully go away, but Void Gaming have gotten that Herald. They got that top lane tower, and now Rago baits Warrior Lady in headbutt, gets cancelled, but there is Warrior Lady going 2 against 2 with the help of Consistent. The healing zone of the Grand Challenge just sustains him a bit, but now Psycho will make sure that Warrior Lady will go down, and it's a 1-for-1 in the end of the day, but in a 3 versus 2, that looks good. Now Dominant gets caught, he gets Emperor's Divide, but beautiful ult onto those raids. The Raptors will give him an escape, but Trushut Boraz, he actually escapes again with that shield. Will he be able to stay alive for long is a question. Consistent is there. The damage will come, but Psycho is trying to sustain him. It's actually Miracle who grabs that kill with the Trushut Boraz damage.
I'm not sure we should call that a bait, but Lee Sin almost dropped his help as well. Now Miracle can follow and chase for a kill, but look at the damage. It's non-existent.
Yeah, so he has been hitting those ults. The only thing he's missing is some AD, and that will come in time, but until then, they just have to pick up very careful fights and try to keep themselves into this mid-game. I know Emilia is going to be a huge problem for them, especially now with the Sunfire Cape. It's really hard to deal with him. And Warrior Lady will be sent into a split boosting quest. And depending on how that goes, mid-game could actually be pretty viable for Different Dimension.
Exactly, and we are seeing some magic resist being picked up on Diana with some damage, so if she manages to be in the middle of the fight, that is just a huge damage bonus, a huge burst bonus for the whole blue team, because Malphite also inflicts a lot of magic damage, and that can just turn the tide of events and the turn of battles that are yet to come. The first dragon is being picked up by Void Gaming, granting them the 6% damage bonus.
Yeah, Psycho getting that first dragon. It is going to give them a little bit of more burst, especially with the combo they have. Definitely Rago Dominant will be happy about this. And as Infinity Edge has been completed now for Rago, he still has those double longswords from very early into this game. Now Warrior Lady gets a little bit caught up, but they're not going to chase him. Consistent finds Psycho, and
that was just not...
Oh, double pulverize! They get caught. Consistent will make sure that he goes away with a Black Shield. There won't be any problem for different dimension, and they don't even use their summoner spells, but Dragon's Rage is now on cooldown, so their initiation potential is lost for the next minutes.
So you of course need a little time to destroy the freshly created tunnels. Lee Sin just did not respect that, and because of that he had to use his ultimate for his own defense. Now as we are approaching the 20th minute, I'm pretty much sure that the Herald game is now over again, and we are going to be focused much more on Barnashor than the Dragon. And the tower difference is actually in favor of Void Gaming, first time of today as well, but still.
Yeah, so getting back to what we were analyzing before that fight happened, it is a double longsword from Rago on Tristana, and he has that since his first recall. So he didn't actually use it to build into anything. Actually, he used that for lane dominance, and I really love how this worked out for him. He will be using it for something, but Warrior Lady gets caught up. He uses a ground challenge, but Diana is just so strong after that Abyssal Scepter. No luck.
Oh yeah, and that Abyssal Scepter is not even against the Fiora, but still Diana is just dealing a lot of damage. Thanks to that, another free kill being picked up, Ignite was used, but the flash is still intact in Warrior Lady.
Yeah, well, Aniya is looking for an unstoppable force, and as long as different dimensions are spreading and backing off, Void Gaming is able to pick up some objectives without even using their summoner spells, so they need to stand their ground onto those inner towers and properly protect them until mid-game is almost over. This is an Azir, a Nezreal, and a Fiora we're talking about. And despite the fact that late game has kind of been extinct this patch, oh, Amiya just uses the Unstoppable Force, but Herald is also spawning in 1 minute. That won't matter. It's 1955, right?
I mean, the Barnashor is going to spawn soon. That is absolutely right. But I don't think either team is looking to pick it up soon. I mean, after it spawns, that is a nice escape by Warrior Lady. The flash is still available, but in 1 versus 3 situation, I don't think that it's ideal to stay even under the tower against an All-Star.
Yeah, they actually let him wave clear, but it is going to be Dominant being out of mana, so he has to recall back. And their plans to go into a pushing spree in that top lane are being postponed. And that is some very important information, as the Herald is potentially getting wasted. Meanwhile, on bot lane, Miraculo is actually getting zoned by a Malphite, and this is not something we see very often.
Yeah, Malphite is just ridiculously strong with the new masteries, because you can take a lot of aggressiveness, you can take a lot of aggression and a lot of damage. Just from the masteries, go full tank and still deal a lot of damage. But other than that, even before, I mean, if you built a full tank Malphite, you had the chance to 1v1. Oh, the Pulverize did not connect.
Flash hit by the Pulverize. Not the way they planned it out. So a flash being completely wasted essentially by Oath, and Pretty did not even have to use his flash to go away. The headbutt actually did that for him. So Oath not having his flash is gonna make Void Gaming's initiation essentially much weaker. So Different Dimension get a little bit of a breather, and we can see that Warrior Lady, despite his team being 5,000 gold behind, he's still playing pretty aggressive.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to point out. Even though there is not a single tower taken from Void Gaming so far, we can see the lanes are being pushed towards Different Dimension rather than under the towers of the blue team, which just further empowers how great Void Gaming is performing in this current game. Now Warrior Lady is fighting.
Yeah, the trade with Psycho is not going to lead into anything, but Dominant is roaming towards the top lane yet again, and this time he's going to find Wild Panda, who just has to flash over the wall if he wants to keep his head. So flash for both supports is used now, and Baron is alive, so we could potentially see Void Gaming trying to bait a fight around Baron, but Miracolo has now completed his Rage Blade, and despite him being such a weak marksman on the early game, he could now start dealing severe amounts of damage.
Yeah, and his wave clearing power just got, I don't know, quadrupled. Thanks to that one item, Warrior Lady is looking for some fight, but I'm not sure he can actually finish the small fight off.
He slows Emilia. The plan is to get him to use the unstoppable force so he doesn't have it on that fight. And most importantly, Void Gaming's rush towards that Baron has been postponed too. So Emilia, being so low on mana too, he will have to go back. And if he gets that Frozen Heart, then it will be considered a very significant power spike against Ezreal and Fiora.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is, I think this particular match, the Frozen Heart is only going to be, I mean, it's going to be the most effective against Azir, because you see he has the Nashor's Tooth completed, and the Rage Blade, well, it's going to proc anyways, even with the Mystic Shots. So against Ezreal, that's just half useful. Now the second Dragon buff is being picked up by Void Gaming.
I would say uncontested. But
yeah,
look at Different Dimension. They made an instant movement towards Baron. They could potentially try to rush it if it wasn't for those pink wards. And they basically trade Dragon number 2 for vision control around the Baron. Now, to someone that isn't that used to the competitive scene, that could seem like a bad trade for Different Dimension, trading a Dragon for simply clearing some wards. But they set up themselves for potentially a game-winning fight. Now, Warrior Lady goes against Emilia. The healing zone will be taken out, and Warrior Lady just simply uses it to win the trade. He's now healthy again, and he can keep pushing while Emilia is no longer able to stop him.
Now the question is, with the teleports all being available, will we see some Baron fight? Because
Rago. He actually finds a chance to push completely alone and get that middle lane inner tower. Meanwhile, on bot lane, Warrior Lady and Emilia both hate each other, so we go for the stun. Riposte was used, but not the best possible way. Emilia with the unstoppable force, he gets the one-on-one, so Warrior Lady will be defeated. Now Miracolo gets initiated on Dominant, is trying to find another target, and the Truciate Barrage doesn't deal enough damage. So Void Gaming just drive them back. It is going to be the Lucent Singularity that gets... No, he actually survives. It is going to be Dominant that goes down, and Void Gaming potentially throw a very easy push. It is going to be a tower for a kill that got traded, but this is not over. Pretty goes in, he's out of mana though, he gets the kill with the exhaust being up. Psycho solo, Rago goes in, he gets the Flash Bastard Sword, and Consistent is taken down, but Warrior Lady's back with the home guards and the teleport for the payback, and only Psycho will survive this.
This is actually something crazy, but I don't think Warrior Lady can further follow that kill. She will anyway.
He actually goes for it, and he proves you wrong. So Warrior Lady, with the use of that flash, he gets a kill onto Psycho, making this a non-official ace. And with Psycho being dead, him being the jungler, this could create some Baron pressure. but I doubt Different Dimension are actually going to go for that.
I mean, not with this small fight around. You can see him zoning 3 people on his own, and he's quite successful as that. He might even go in. The Unstoppable Force is available, along with the Flash. And there's the Arcane Shift.
The Seismic Sword is going to slow down Miracolo, but the Locket of the Iron Solari from Panda will make sure that his AD carry is not that much in danger. Although the Locket is a very significant cooldown on its own. Now we do see Void Gaming that they want to utilize those cooldowns from Different Dimension, and they start Baron. So will we see a steal from Konzi-san? I know he's going to go for it. Oh, this very low. He could go for a kill too. He gets a kill. Who gets the Baron? It's Psycho. But this is a good fight for Different Dimension. Konzi-san survives, and Amiga grabs the kill before Psycho will be able to go away. And now he dies to Miracle, and it's a double kill for Dominant. This is a 2 against 2, but while Panda is alone, he's trying to escape. It is going to be Psycho, though, that seals the deal with Different Dimension. Trading 4 for 3, they will be having the problem of defending against Baron.
Yeah, and that's not even a single Baron that's still available on Void Gaming's members. They have 2 left, so they can just freely go into a split push. And especially since Rek'Sai is still alive, she can just utilize her ultimate and go to the side lane, push it up, and then join the team when it's needed. Obviously, you can see further starvation coming in from the south area of the jungle. With that, blue buff being taken away, Ozzy is looking at some mana problems probably because he still did not finish that item.
Yeah, so it is going to be the Death Cat that is being rushed by Pretty. And until he gains that power spike, he really needs to rely on his team to carry those fights. We did see a very good fight from Different Dimension. It was actually Konzi-san that chooses to go in much earlier than he wanted. And instead of going for that Baron steal, he goes for the kill on 2-0. And Different Dimension.
Ouch.
Oh, Emperor's Divide misses. Now Panda will get punished, but look at Rago, he gets deleted. The Dark Binding gets out. Different Dimension find the fight they were looking for. Oath will also go down. This is 2 kills for Different Dimension, and the question is, what can they do with the death timers they got in hand? Can they actually push on that mid lane? It is severely pushed, but they have 3 towers to go for.
This is actually what we've been talking about. So the main difference between 2 teams is not to be looked at the laning phase. It's about the communication, and at that, we can just see how...
Consistent here, get flanked, and whole Different Dimension pays for it. So Anon Psycho grabs that kill. And as you were about to say, what they do with their death timers, they get 1 too.
Exactly, and that is a more important kill than the 2 before, because that is the jungler being taken out for 20 more seconds, and the dragon is just about to spawn, which could probably mean more movement speed for all Void Gaming members. Now with that Malphite plus movement speed is just devastation in itself.
8,000 gold difference is separating Void Gaming and Different Dimension. Different Dimension did not surrender the game like we saw before, and they're gonna chase a comeback. And this is how Different Dimension play. We have seen Split Push work so well. Now it is gonna be Dragon number 3 that gives them that movement speed they need to go for a very decisive fight. Now, can they hold that tower is the question. Warrior Lady is in there. The tower is very close to going down. Rago with explosive charge is going to do a lot of damage, but the tower is still up. Oh, there comes the Emperor's Divide. Dominant barely survives with the Sonya, but for how long? He goes down. Now Oath will also go down. Warrior Lady barely survives, but not for long. Rago is doing a lot of damage on his own. He gets her resets. There comes the Plastic Exhaust. Will we be able to keep him down? It is going to be Rago dying, and Emiya will follow. This is Different Dimension getting the ace they needed. And finally, Miracolo deals the amount of damage expected of him. Triple kill, and he also now gets the red buff.
Not just him, but also the Emperor's Divide came at the nick of time. That is just perfectly timed by Pretty. that just stopped Dominant from coming in, dealing any kind of damage, and was completely out of the fight by the time he pressed his Zonias. He was already dead, actually, because the two-shot barrage just came at the right time to finish him off. You can see he did not even have the flash up. And now we are almost at 35 minutes. That means that the death timers are going to explode soon upon us. Well, we can see a few towers being picked up thanks to the 5 kills that Different Dimensions secured. Still, the gold lead is about 5,000 in favor of Void Gaming.
That was a very good first step for Different Dimension, who is trying to get back into this game. They could utilize mistakes like that again and again, as Dominant got caught before bursting anyone, and that Emperor's Divide was absolutely divine from Pretty. So the question is, can they do it again? And will Void Gaming repeat the same mistakes? Knowing those teams, I say that this is a very rare scenario. But at this point, Different Dimension have Miracolo, who finally scaled well into the late game. And we see a little bit of a power shift.
Yeah, and because you already said that he deals enough damage, he also gets Bloodthirster, and the Muramana is finished right now on him.
Huge power spike.
Exactly. The Mystic shots will too deal enough damage as of now. So before fights, he has the chance to potentially poke down the key members of Void Gaming. The only real power and potential threat still being Amaya, who cannot get poked down, has an Abyssal Scepter, so he also deals damage, and I think he can pretty much just stay in the fight as long as he wants to.
Yeah, so a lot of great late game potential by Different Dimension. This is what we talked about like 10 minutes ago. And Void Gaming are facing themselves with a race against time. They actually have to close out this game. But now Warrior Lady gets caught. Unstoppable Force comes out. The Crown Challenge too. Oathbreaker is there, but he only can deliver crowd control. Now there comes the Black Shield. The Iron Solari will keep Warrior Lady alive. And with the Flash not being available, this is a miracle that Different Dimension still have 5 players alive.
But they still do, and that is what counts. Still the inhibitor. Oh no, it falls. Just right
we
now.
do see the initiation. Warrior Lady goes in. The Pulverize will only get 2 members. Now Oath knows he cannot survive this. So Unbreakable will only negate, actually postpone the inevitable. And it is going to be Different Dimension losing an inhibitor for a kill. So question is, what can they do with the kill that they have? And I can't believe I'm going to say this in 5:22 pads, but Different Dimension also has to be careful of not going against 5 dragons.
5 dragons, yeah, that's a potential threat. As of now, the teleport is coming in.
Oh, teleport last second. It gets baited, and now it doesn't get cancelled, so Emilia goes right in there. He flashes over the wall, so in the end, it is going to be him losing both summoners, just so he can be there in time. Now, Different Dimension do not disengage the Baron. They want to go for it, and Consistent needs to keep Psycho away. So will we see a steal is a question. Psycho gets a steal! Baron is for Void, and Unstoppable Force is used. Now, will they be able to survive the fight? Miracolo gets a kill to Emilia. Everyone is going down from Void. They get the Baron, but at what cost? Dominant gets a kill to Consistent, but only 2 people alive for Void. Double Pulverize will get Different Dimension, but there's just not enough damage. Oath will be brought down by Miracolo in time, and Dominant is also chased. And what a beautiful outplay by Miracolo. Now Dominant is the only survivor, and he's trying to buy time for his team. This time could be used into pushing in that mid lane, but Different Dimension really know that killing Dominant is going to be a huge factor, as he has Baron buff. So they chase. Warrior Lady dodges, and it is going to be Dominant who goes down to Pretty.
That pretty much looks like a raid boss to me. So even in a 3v1 situation, Flash had to be burned in order to survive on the Azir. So nevertheless, the fight was won, Bernasher was taken, and Different Dimension is still back in the game. Now thanks to the Rage Beard, Ezreal had time to pick up a free tower in the middle lane, but the base is just collapsing on them.
Well, they're officially back. If they can sustain through the respawn of that inhibitor, then Different Dimension would actually have the upper hand with such good scaling champions. But Fourth Dragon is being contested now by Void Gaming. This is not going to be given for free by Different Dimension. And 5 Dragons is potentially the power spike that Void Gaming have in mind. They will lose that fourth one. But now we do see Different Dimension going in. Now Pretty's there, Emperor's Divide gets both of them. Psycho will go down, but Warrior Lady is missing the healing zone. He jumps onto the crack so he can heal a bit. Rago goes down, Pretty gets it. He's no unstoppable, and Emiya is zoning both of them. Exhaust will actually have to go there, and Dominant gets a kill onto Pretty. Warrior Lady now has to get away from Oath, as this was a very good fight by both teams. It is actually Different Dimension that come up ahead. Can they deal with Dominant is the question. There comes Initiation, the damage is there. There comes a Pulverize, but it's also timed with Zhonya's. So Dominant will go down, Oath will follow, and Emiya is the sole survivor of this fight.
Timings and team fights are just brutally good from Different Dimension. They managed to, even from behind, get the upper hand in fights by having perfect focus, and even as Dominant was the last one to fall, Zhonya wasn't even close to saving him, to be honest.
Well, Miracolo now is getting caught. There comes the Void Rush, but now it is going to be Dark Binding hitting him very nicely. Double knockup, the Black Shield is late. It is going to be Miracolo dying, but Consistent doesn't have the same plans. He wants to keep his head, and Psycho is on the hunt. Will he be able to get the kill is the question. Pretty is closing in, and Dark Binding goes for Malphite, but look at Psycho, he just manages to grab that kill.
Now with these respawn timers, especially on Ezreal, I think we might be looking at another inhibitor being picked up in the middle lane, because with Tristana destroying the tower in almost the 40th minute, I think that doesn't even take time.
Yeah, so Psycho now tanking the tower for his teammates. It is going to be a mid lane inhibitor tower destroyed with extreme ease. And as Different Dimension were waiting for their inhibitor to respawn, they're going to lose another. And what unlucky timing is that? First inhibitor respawns now, while it is available for Void Gaming to destroy, and Different Dimension have to survive the double inhibitor going down yet again.
It's actually just crazy, but Different Dimension is still in the game. They do not have a huge deficit in terms of gold. And with further team fights to come, as you already mentioned, the late game team fights might be in favor of Different Dimension, but when the super tanks come in, namely Rek'Sai and Malphite, there is just no feel for the AD carry other than Azir.
That is true, and talking about Azir, Pretty is one item away from full build. Right now he has that needlessly large roar, which is going to become Zhonya's, which will give him enough survivability to completely cancel out that that burst from Dominant. But now we do see Warrior Lady chasing Emiya, who is very close to go out of mana. Warrior Lady is still chasing, but Emiya is just so fast. Now he goes in with the Grand Challenge. There's no mana this time. He has the Unstoppable Force. He uses it. It doesn't matter. Warrior Lady gets the kill. And this is going to be what Different Dimension needed against a team that pushes for a third inhibitor. Now this is going to delay things even further. And they need to make those plays again and again until those inhibitors are up. Else Void Gaming will have the upper hand, even with this lineup.
More than that, the teamfight potential for the upcoming 1 minute of Void Gaming is, I think, in vain. Because without Malphite, there is no front line other than Rek'Sai. Okay.
Third inhibitor tower is getting destroyed. It is going to be Rago who gets it, but now there comes Initiation by Consistent. He kicks Oath into Tristana, but not successfully. Now Pretty has to deal some damage onto Dominant. Zhonya's will be used. The Trucial Barrage will not hit anyone, but Dominant now finally goes down. Also does go Warrior Lady, and all follows. Now Rago will be the deciding factor for Void, and he goes down. Miracolo with a double kill. Different Dimension just won't quit. They're still into this game. They refuse to lose. And now they're so close into getting their first Baron into this game.
I just can't believe that this team cannot lose a single team fight. I mean, just look at the base. It's collapsing. It's being destroyed. This is basically a fight against time, because 2 inhibitors are down. One Nexus tower is down, and the last inhibitor is just there naked in the top lane. Now we are through 40 minutes. It's official. We have a late game here, ladies and gentlemen, in the finals.
Yeah, well, who would have thought that? And seeing a late game Ezreal on 522. You guys should take a very good look at that, because I'm not sure when you're going to have a chance to see that again. Miracle being 1 item away from full build 2. Lord Dominic's regards are going to be built, but now Emilia gets caught. This is not the best possible target, but different dimension are getting piled up, so they should be careful of getting forced.
Warrior Lady still has the teleport up, but I don't think this is a good Baron Nashor call, because it's a 4 against 4 scenario with Malphite being there.
And 2 inhibitors down.
And the 2 inhibitors down, especially with that fact.
Different dimension are just very aware that they need to stall this, and they have to be very careful of their next fight. These late game fights are so explosive and so punishing. The smallest mistake could mean a game, and right now we do see Warrior Lady still being on that bot lane. He has that teleport, but he's out of mana, so he has to recall. Void Gaming are pressuring for that 3rd inhibitor, and Different Dimension really need to keep that going. They need that inhibitor no matter what, so their final stand would be here if they had to.
Different Dimension has to wait off the Herald that was completed on ESL like 20 minutes ago, because when that has its active on, so when Tristana is constantly dealing critical damage, I don't think that's still a winnable fight for Different Dimension, but other than that, there's still a chance, and there always will be.
Yeah, so Baron gets initiated, Void Gaming will get it for free, and Different Dimension have to go through that again. This is a real test for them.
It's a struggle.
It is a struggle, and they're struggling very well, I have to say. I'm getting tired just looking at them. They're doing everything they need to do, and they're still behind. Void Gaming have kept the pressure. Now officially 2 inhibitors respawning. And this is where Different Dimension need to get those Baron buffs off. Because if those inhibitors go down again, I'm not sure they're gonna keep their base intact for a second time.
The passive of Azir is still available in the top lane, but the other inhibitors are free to take, and Void Gaming is looking just at that.
Oh, he's buffing the minion wave, and this is gonna cost Warrior Lady. He gets a lot of damage on himself. Now, no one is able to clear those creeps very well, so a fight is needed. Look at Emilia being brought down. The inhibitor on that bot lane will be their first target, and now it will go down, so Different Dimension need to force something. Meanwhile, Pretty gets got onto that mid lane. Zonius will not be able to get the kill as a result of that, as a Blacksmith helped him out, but everyone's still alive. 2 inhibitors going down again. Void Gaming do not need to overcommit. They get what they went here for, and they can just simply go back and come right here after they heal. So 2 inhibitors is a great start.
Question is there gonna be a chase? Because you can see Warrior Lady.
Warrior Lady goes in here, riposte a lot of damage, but he will go down. No, he's still alive somehow. The Sterex keeps him alive. Miraculous Snipe gets dominant, and it's a 1-for-1. Now Rago has to go back while Panda survives somehow. Beautiful play. Psycho gets exhausted into his death. Rago will go down, but he trades himself for Miraculo. Void play this as much as they can. It is going to be a huge risk, and Emilia knows he's going to go down, but he needs to do something before he does so. It is going to be Consistent who is having the crest to bring him down, but look at Emilia.
Seriously?
Can he come back for this? He actually survives. Consistent is trying to get that kill, but it is going to be Oath trading himself for the 3rd inhibitor. And as Emilia survives this, Different Dimension face themselves with the triple inhibitor defense.
Now that makes the next 5 minutes to come a living nightmare.
It's torture.
For different dimension. Yeah, you could say that. I mean, they are back in the game. They are still in the game. They are looking at 10 towers having brought down by Void Gaming, and still they somehow managed to win all the team fights. They are fully built up. They have the chance to win another team fight, especially with Fira picking up the last Whisper. They can deal a lot of damage, even to Rek'Sai, even to Malphite. The question is there gonna be enough? I mean, 3 inhibitors, that's no joke.
4th Dragon, now officially contested by Void Gaming. And I don't know, man, this looks just so hard for Different Dimension. They need to defend with 3 inhibitors down. Baron buff is expired, but with 3 inhibitors, it's going to be very hard. I have to give it to them. If they ever come back from this, I think they are declared pretty much Southeast Europe gods.
Yes, you can definitely say that. Now you can see the Void Gaming's team a bit split, and as I say that, they are looking to group in the bot lane. 3 inhibitors are down and only 1 Nexus start is available, and you can see a nice amount of minions storming and sieging the bot lane and the middle lane as well. But with the soldiers and with Ezreal's Rage Blade, I think they can pretty much survive this.
Oh, beautiful poke onto Emilia. That happened before too, but now Dominant is looking to make a play. Rago is pressuring towards that Nexus as defense becomes even harder by the second. So Different Dimension here really need a decisive, explosive fight. They cannot extend this for long because those creeps are hurting. Oh, Dominant gets pretty. This is very dangerous. Now Emilia is there. They're going in Void Gaming. They're just ending the game. And they bring this best of 3 final series into the 3rd game.